A pleasant good morning to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It is just about 8:05 in the a.m. It is the last day of the fourth month of the year. As Biff would have mentioned, a third of the year is already completed. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea. Just to remind you, we are being simulcast on TVC, Channel 40. We're on Facebook as well as YouTube. We're on your FM dial at 98.9. If you wish to join in on our conversation or bring something pressing to the fore, our local number is 466-0989. In the U.S., 1-305-921-4619 or 1-718-285-6984. In the U.K., 0333440665. Today is, as I mentioned before, the last day. It is the last day for you to get your independence slogans in, as we start preparations to celebrate Independence 43 here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. It is also election day for our neighbors just over there in Antigua. We wish them a safe one, and as early as midnight, we should be able to know if it's UPP or if it's Labour, because Labour is all over. And to those of you who have not yet regularized your status, a gentle reminder, tomorrow is your deadline, but we're going to remind you today because, payday is for a lot of people today, for those of you who get paid month end. So it says, according to recent updates from St. Kitts and Nevis authorities, as of April 2026, May 1st, 2026 is the final deadline for undocumented non-nationals to regularize their status. The Ministry of National Security, Citizenship and Immigration has stated that the Special Immigration Order 2025 concludes on this date. Folks, take advantage of it. You do not want to be deported, or you cannot come. Well, deportation means you cannot come back, maybe for some time. So you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want the walk of shame. So please go and get yourself sorted out. So it says, making it the last opportunities for individuals to regularize their stay. Key information, deadline, May 1st, 2026. That's tomorrow. As I said, you can do it today. Some of you get paid today. If you know you're owing them, put aside your money, go and get yourself sorted out. Persons living in St. Kitts and Nevis without legal status, that's the target group. Action required individuals who have begun the process but have not completed payment of fees must settle their balances by tomorrow. And the location where all of this will be done, I'm sure most of you know that are not regularized or that are not nationals of the Federation. The location, the Ministry of National Security, is located at the Caribana Building on Liverpool Road in Bastair. As I said before, authorities have warned that individuals who fail to comply by this date may be subject to enforcement measures under the Federation's immigration laws. It's also pertinent to note that there are also significant changes to the Citizen Bioinvestment Program and Passport Biometrics in 2026, but the regularization deadline for non-nationals is specifically May 1st, 2026. So you have until tomorrow to get yourself sorted out, to avoid any running with our immigration department or other legal aspects of the country. So please do what is necessary to ensure that you remain legal. Biff, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Hortensia. I am blessed, highly favored, and giving thanks. What about you, my dear?
Trying to be better than yesterday, and I think I accomplished some of it.
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job. You're looking extra special today in that carnival-like.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, it's a floral dress. It's a carnival, y'all. I cannot.
Really a carnival.
I do not know what gentlemen or what men in particular see when it comes to colors, boy. That's why the lady to plan the wedding, because y'all going to give us some colors out of this world that we going to can.
Some people feel that men are colorblind.
I think they are.
I don't know. I think the Lord gifted me. The thing is that y'all come up with some fancy name, lilac and fuchsia.
Lilac, fuchsia. Anything else?
Mustard.
Mustard is standard.
I know the basic. Blue, navy blue, sky blue, or royal blue, and...
What? You can differentiate between the blues? Boop, boop, boop. The gentlemen are going to get me, but oh well.
I thought black was just black, but you have midnight black and smoke
You have
black.
blackest black.
Blackest
You
black.
have soft black.
Soft black. Whoa.
Don't forget that.
Wow, soft black. And what about white? We have different shades of white?
White.
Off-white. Oh,
Yeah.
Kind of creamy.
And yeah.
Beige.
So it's white and off white. I think beige. Do you think beige fall in that same category, or maybe off white fall in that category as it continues
like
down? But I think white is by itself. That's why when they say white people, I'd be like, no, they're Caucasians. They're not the color white. This paper is white. They're not that. They're not white.
They're Caucasians.
Caucasians. Yeah.
And khaki. And I thought khaki was a color. Only to find out khaki is like a type of material, because khaki, I know, has that kind of khaki-ish look.
For shizzle.
Okay?
I'm not going to stay here and pretend like I thought I didn't know like you. I don't know that. I thought it was a color, but it's a material. Wow. I learned something new today.
So I'm not going to charge you for being a consultant.
Oh, no. No, I didn't know that, Biff. What? That's me.
I hope I didn't embarrass myself. I hope when you're Googling it, you didn't tell khaki is a color.
Oh, boy. Biff, in the learning phase, let's figure out what khaki is. So khaki is in fact a color defined as a light brownish green or tan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
But
if I had bet, I would have lose. I don't bet. When somebody was in an argument, and I said, why khaki is a color? And the person adamant.
that is the material.
And I say, okay, then you got jeans, the material for jeans and polyester and cotton and them sort of thing. So khaki got to be a color. The person said, no, the material. So I give up. I say, all right, then I believe you. But only to say, why, and I embarrass myself and to the world and WinFM 98.9.
No, as I said, it's all a learning process, because you had me at hello just now. And I'm like, khaki's not a color?
Okay.
So I didn't know that. I always knew it was a color. But we know what khakis are used for. The gentlemen wear them to school. They're used for army material, etc., etc. Because I think it's a durable fabric with the khaki color.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's khaki fabric.
And I've learned as a man, 3 pants you're supposed to have in your wardrobe.
Let me hear
black
these colors.
A jeans, nice dress jeans, and a khaki pants.
So a black pants, a jean pants, and a khaki pants? So no navy blue pants?
No, navy
no
blue,
gray pants?
brown and grey and all. Those are secondary. The 3 primary colors. And
so jean pants to go down the road, a black pants to go funeral and everything else, and the khaki pants to match up.
Yes, and well, some people, when you have on a nice dress shirt and a khaki pants and a jacket, you look snush,
Okay.
Yeah, man, you look snush, girl. Well, I suspect the ladies would have something similar, because especially if in your groups, and they say we're wearing white shirt and khaki, or white shirt and red shirt, or black pants, or whatever. So it's perhaps a similar thing for the ladies in terms of dresses, skirts, or pants. That's a lot of clothes are you wearing, girl? Dress, skirt, and still pants?
Well, different styles of clothing. So I guess it's just, I'm trying to think what else we wear. Yeah. That's about it. Wow. Is that, oh boy.
I didn't realize that.
I never look, you got me looking at all kind of things differently today. We wear shirts, we wear jerseys, we wear hoodies, oh my gosh, we wear scarves. I think we wear more clothes than men, though.
Of course.
We have more styles.
Plus,
and
we might wear pants for 2-3 days, and y'all wear a dress and or whatever outfit to go to a wedding every 2-3 years. I don't know.
Wait.
Every event y'all have to buy a new wardrobe.
It depends.
It depends.
Because now in the world where everybody's posting, they live, because we continue to live for people. I can't let them see me in that again. They buy it.
Exactly.
I going to stitch it up and I going to wear it to the next event. But you see, that's why you don't get into all this posting and all this stuff. So that you don't have to feel that you're obligated to oblige people by wasting your money, and they don't even care what you have on. Because sometimes we think, they see me in that already, They didn't even know you have that.
Yeah, nobody watch you. But talking about posting, I guess you were down last year at the mini carnival yesterday.
Not me. I had to wear
it. Speed.
Not me.
Well,
you went?
I happened to pass through.
Did you get through?
But I had to run because of the crowd. It was Juve morning kind of crowd.
I would have loved to see you running.
Serious.
Yeah,
And,
someone else made reference to it being like a Juve morning crowd. I think a lot of people, Kitchens don't like to come last, right?
Not
So
man,
you
not-
know they was not going to let no other Caribbean island
Exactly.
upstage them and anything too for a free jam.
Yes, it was, and
Yeah.
well, down. I got in connection with them across Pelican Mall region,
Yeah.
and I think Ekedy Railway, it was the man jamming the sounds, Sister
Okay.
Sensi and Pinocchio. They were also in attendance, and they were the Mako Jumbies and Clowns. Those were the folklore troops at that point at the Pelican Mall that I saw. But I think the Bull was someplace else, and the Masquerades was someplace else.
So we had an early mini carnival.
Yes, we had a few persons in costumes, carnival costumes, and it was really wonderful. Quite a few school children were present.
It seems
in
like the school
uniforms.
children are very familiar with him.
Yeah, girl, young people thing, I heard.
But I saw a lot of big people too.
Girl, yes,
Still
too.
want to be in the young people thing.
Girl, yeah, everybody fast. And the funny thing about it, today is what? Today is Thursday.
Thursday.
It's only Tuesday I heard about this guy,
Oh, I knew about him sometime, as I said earlier in the month yesterday, because he went to Africa, and it just popped up on my Facebook feed. I didn't pay much attention to the gentleman because I don't know him, and it's not in my age range, that way?
53 million people,
And it was steady
Followers.
because my husband wanted something from Domino's last night, so I went there, and of course they have the telly stick on that because he arrived in St. Martin. And he's still the same amount of people is still on, and the figures at the end are the ones that are changing, but the 53 remain constant.
3,320 something.
I'm not sure. All I said they were changing, but
yes.
the 53 was constant.
Steady,
Yeah, it wasn't moving.
That didn't move at all.
Yeah.
But he's quite an energetic youngster.
I find.
Extremely energetic.
Because to start from since morning in one place to go to the next place to come to the next place, but he didn't do a lot of the things that he said he'd do, but I guess he did what he needed to do to put us out there.
I think what happened, he ran late, schedule ran late, because the police notice said they would have blocked off
From 2?
from 2 to 4. But he didn't get to, I think he landed in St. Kitts like maybe after 4 minutes to 5. And then he went over, had to go and eat and things like that. And he went at Boozy's, and apparently he really fell in love with the goat water. and then the KFC, he stopped at KFC as well, the drive-in. And it looked like he has a thing with KFC, because in Guadeloupe, he was actually eating KFC as well. So I don't know if that is a part of his program. Everywhere he goes, it's a KFC.
He tries
thing.
the KFC.
And I heard that he wants to determine who has the best KFC.
Yeah, I saw something like
in
that on
St.
social
Kitts,
media too.
in the Caribbean. Well, forgive me for saying in St. Kitts, because I think it's number 1.
You see what I say? What did I just say? Conditions A will come last. No. Showed up and showed out. Even if they didn't know who it was, they was going to make sure the country numbers look bomb. If it's one thing, you're very patriotic, I must say.
Yeah, and the thing about it, though, I had a little concern with the lateness and the school children in uniform, whether or not their parents were with them. I guess the parents would have known, should have known, ought to have known that the children were going. I don't know if it was organized, we're going as a school, or you just take it
I don't think so, because remember I told you someone had mentioned letting them out early.
Sister Sensi had asked for them to be let out early.
Oh, I didn't hear that one, but I'm glad they weren't, because it would have been a waste, because you see it was behind. So everything works out in time, because that would have been a next flag for the education department. Oh, y'all close up school for somebody. So I am glad they chose wisdom, and it happened though it happened.
But would you believe after 11, the man in St. Martin, that's when I set him up to go sleep last night. Well, no.
He got there before,
But after 11, he's still up and going.
Yeah, and someone said, oh, nobody in St. Martin came to see him. I said,
what?
Because he's not outside yet. He's at the private jet terminal. They're clearing him. I didn't mention much to the person because I know the airport, I know whatever. But I said, no, the people outside. So when he did get to go outside, the person said, what? I said, yes, he has a following, it seems.
Yeah.
So look, lined. Because they were saying, oh, a lot of Haitians live in St. Martin, they're not going to be into that and whatever. I said, you watch and see. St. Martin, when the person saw it for themselves, they were like, wow. I'd be like,
Yeah, girl. And the good thing about it, well, in St. Dominica, I think it is, St. Lucia, he gave a youngster $2,000. And when he was
$1,000 US.
$1,000 US, okay. 2007 easy. And when he was in Dominica, he said all the money is made in Dominica.
Yeah.
He's going to contribute towards
the flood victims.
Flood relief.
And Expedia promises to match it.
Oh, Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because if you realize Expedia is a big sponsor,
Uh-huh.
because we not only wrapped the SUV that I was talking about yesterday, they wrapped a jet ski that he really didn't go on because he figured he did jet ski somewhere else. He doesn't need to do jet ski here again.
He did just in Guadeloupe.
Yeah, and the monkey tour. What is it called? Oh my gosh! There's a tour with these off-road vehicles.
Oh, okay. ATVs.
ATVs, yeah, the big ones, like almost like a little buggy. Yeah, they wrapped that one as well. So that one was the one that took him up on the hill and took him wherever. Yeah.
But I wonder if they wrapped the donkey, Jeff's donkey.
Not at all. No. Jeff Donkey was normal. I think I glimpsed a little piece of that once at work.
I didn't see that part.
Yeah, but yeah, Jeff is a star now, man.
Jeff and this donkey story, that's something unique, yeah.
Yeah, and you see Jeff can ride horses too?
Yeah.
So Jeff is way ahead of his time.
I rode donkeys when I was a little boy with my grandfather going circle his estate.
You are brave. I'm not playing with them
once
things.
Or twice. Yeah,
It's a
man.
donkey threw me off. Antigua full of donkeys. I never tried to ride a donkey.
Antigua, today's elections in Antigua.
Boy,
like
I hope it's free and
earlier.
fair.
And I've been following it a bit, but it look like politicians are politicians anywhere you go.
Exactly.
Petty and anything the opposition do, you criticize it. Oh, that was my idea. I was doing it before, and it's not a novelty because we discussed it sometime, and that can't work. And where you going to get the money to fund that? And come on, give me a break, man. And we're listening international news. Where was it? Iraq, somewhere down there, executing. Not Iraq. They had an election somewhere in Africa recently, and they're executing opposition members and that sort of thing. It is sad when you have to do that, and because some countries we have to give thanks that we have. Should I say fully democratic? We have full democracy here in St. Kitts. Should I say that?
Yeah, because we ain't gonna behave so. Look,
exactly. In other countries, you got to hide.
Yeah, because it amazes me here how Kittitians and Kittitians are friends until elections, and then they abuse each other, and then after elections, there's friend again. So as I said, when I moved here from Ghana, it amazes me how the children were in school, and I'm thinking, but in Ghana, we don't talk politics. That's big people talk, and our parents make sure we know that's big people talk. And even when the big people are talking, we are nowhere to be seen amongst the big people. So when I started school here and I hear these children calling each other labor dog and pamcat, I was like, what is that? And then somebody said, oh, it's with parties, and she's a labor dog, and them is pamcats. And I'm like, oh my God. Listen.
So the question is, what are they going to call PLP now?
Oh, Lord.
I haven't heard a name for PLP, you know, girl.
Yeah, nobody coined that.
And speaking about PLP, they're going to be live and lively here in winnfm studios this afternoon at 2:30 p.m.
Okay.
So we're inviting everybody to come and listen and hear to what PLP, the People's Labour Party, are presenting 2:30 this afternoon right here, live and lively, on winnfm 98.9. And they hold their press conferences once a month or thereabout. But this is live interaction where people from all over can call in, make your suggestions, critique, and what you think. And talking about what you think, they did something different, I should say. Some time ago, they said anybody wanting to represent PLP at any one of the constituencies, you must write in and say you're interested.
And it's funny that we're thinking alike on my train of thought, because I'm like, I know the representatives, all the representatives for the Labour Party. I don't know all the representatives for PAM, and I don't know all the representatives for PLP.
I don't know if PLP, they have decided as yet, but that is a different system to what is being used. Normally, the constituencies, the ruling party, the ruling branch, the national arm, they work with the constituencies and they have the recommendations. For the new Workers' Party, Cartencia is a candidate and Biff is a candidate, and then at the constituency level, most times they have an election, and then Cartencia win, so she's going to be representing us in this thing. But they are inviting persons to represent.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we don't know. Election coming soon. I could tell you 6 belong to Dougie. I could tell you 8 belong to Drew. I could tell you 2 belong.
When you say 8 belong to Dougie and Drew, you mean they're running in those constituencies?
That's what I mean, not...
What you mean?
Okay. Say what I mean, please, and not just talk. Okay, so I know Drew running for 8, right? I know Dougie running for 6. I know Marsha running for 2. I know Jeffrey running for 1. You know the people, right? In 4, we know is Samuel. You know the people. But for the other constituencies, for the other parties, I know 7 is Mr. Pell because he makes it clear all the time. I know 2 is Nubian. I know 1 is Shani. I know 4 is Azad. I do not know the rest of representatives for the remainder of the political parties. So I don't. So that is what I was saying. So with elections coming, we should get to know who our representatives are for the other parties.
But elections constitutionally due next year, August, and
so we should know them long time, just like how we always know who is for the red party. We need to know. Don't give us no last minute nothing. Give us a proper and informed choice.
I agree, but you have a whole year.
No, we don't have no whole year. Look until the year gone. Why are we so... why are us as people such procrastinators and think at last minute when you give me Biff, I should be going and vote for Biff? That make any sense?
But it is said that in certain constituencies, I better not say that. It doesn't matter who is voting, you're voting for the party. Plus, I heard election is August this year. I don't know if you heard that discussion. And then in another corner, and this is plain.
If they pull it August this year, the likelihood is the red party would get back because how the others are gonna... They're not ready. This is me saying this, okay, folks? As I just said, I don't know all the representatives. So in my head is like, you're not ready. If I decide I wanted to vote down in, let me be as far as to say, for PLP in 4, who are voting for in 4? Tell me.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Because I heard there's an independent candidate running in number 4.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? So if elections is in August, they're not ready, licks in the skin.
But that is why it's been suggested that in one domino cardboard over there that elections in August because the opposition ain't ready.
And that's how they're going to win. And you see Antigua pushing that too. But I don't know. Let's see what's going to happen in Antigua because as Antigua say, UPP pad up the thing quick too. Labour say they padded up quick to get through. But yeah, I don't know. But as Labour saying in Antigua, they're not going to win. UPP ain't going to win. It's Labour again. So let's see how it goes. And Labour has a how should I put it? A well-orchestrated appearance. They're dressed together. Just whoever is the campaign manager, they're doing a great job. They're dressed together. They're speaking. They stand properly. Like I look at the opposition and I see and I be like, come on, gentlemen, y'all just look tired. No, y'all going, but like stand up, speak with some, drink a little energy drink before you come because you're looking tired there, man. You're not convincing.
And that's one of the things the government's saying. The opposition ain't ready yet. Physically, mentally, other kind of leaves. And
people too.
I heard another school of thought that election is just after independence too, eh?
Okay.
And you're entitled, if you want to believe elections next month or whenever, that's your right.
Because Gaston calling elections early again. You realize that, right? It's not time yet. But he know he could bang them.
Well, yeah.
So he doing it. But let's see if he can bang them, because sometimes
I remember I thought elections, when you had election, it was on that day, the latest. Like last day was the 5th
due
of
date.
August. Like the 5th of August, the last time. So it has to be by that date until when the Honorable Denzel Douglas was the Prime Minister. He bowled everybody a googly, so to speak, because the date came and went and no elections.
Nothing happened.
Only to find out that you can call it, I think, is 90 days after the first sitting of Parliament. So we nearly went over to 6 years or thereabout. I think we had election in 2004 and the next election was in 2010.
And what you think caused that? His fear that he didn't think he was going to get back
Perhaps.
there?
There's a school of thought that's the case. And there's a school of thought, the earlier you call elections, snap elections, that's how organized and confident you think you are as the government. And there may very well be some merit in it. But the flip side of that is the later you call elections, because things not going well for you, nothing working for you, so you're trying to pull something out of the hat. I don't know. And no doubt they the pollster Peter Wickham could, with how he's been involved and in touch, intimate, let me put that way, with these different countries, he'll be in a better position to.
But you see, he said it's better for PAM to join up again. And as I said, the variant PAM supporters are coming out and say, oh, you're crazy, you know? Not again, you know? Not again, you know? Don't do that, you know?
It's going to be interesting.
But he and Mervyn Hanley, I don't know if you saw that piece, they went in depth as to what Miss Greybrook should do, et cetera, and yeah.
It's going to be left to be seen. And I said earlier, PLP will be in at 2:30. It's actually 3:30. They'll be in
today,
and they will be launching their new headquarters.
Okay.
They've acquired a new headquarters across Central Street, I think it is.
Okay.
And I've seen something to say by the former Simaco building on Central Street, so they're going to talk to us about it.
Okay, all right. So they're right in Central.
Indeed.
Look at that. So you wish for us to take a short break and then we'll come back?
That sounds like a very good idea, Cortensia.
All right.
So stick and stay with us. We're going downtown and pay some bills.
Found the sound 99.9 winnfm.
When power stops, your world should not. For April, the TDC Home and Building Depot's product of the month is the GD Super Multi-Purpose Solar Generator. Instant, silent, and efficient power for your home, office, or any other space. Our 600-watt generator was $2,070, now $1,182. The 1500-watt was $2,772, now $1,965. And our 3000-watt powerhouse was $6,405, now $3,960. Finish your projects, continue your business, enjoy your life. Available at the TDC Home and Building Depots on St. Kitts and Nevis and at shoptdcgroup.com.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hosfords.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company where you can get it all. All at TDC Home and Building Depot. From lawn and garden, the TVs and stereos. All at TDC Home and Building Depot. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC Home and Building Depot.
Life can throw surprises your way. Because life, it just happens. With Sagicor, I plan for life's unexpected turns and have a safety net for me and those I love. Call your Sagicor advisor or visit sagicor.com to learn more because, well, life happens.
Your space is your brand. It speaks for you. So what is it saying? From the boardroom to the bedroom, our modern decorative light fixtures offer timeless designs with visual comfort. During April, TDC is making space for new arrivals. They have discounted selected Vision Decorate wall-mounted fixtures ranging from $60 to $115 to as low as $30 to $40. Elevate every corner, transform every moment, enjoy every second. Available at the TDC Home and Building Depots on St. Kitts and Nevis and at shoptdcgroup.com.
And we're back on Island 2 just about 34 minutes after 8. Caller, good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Cortensia and Biff. How you guys doing today, man?
I am good, thanks.
Oh,
You?
I am super.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, well, let me ask you a question. Well, let me say big up to the guy, Aisha Speed, for coming down to the Caribbean and for touching down on SKF. Did he collapse in St. Martin? And when did that happen? Before he came to, if that was true, and
That would have been after he
was
left
that
us. After he left us,
that's
they
after he
said
left?
somebody, I just saw
Okay.
somebody said that as well from exhaustion. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I just want to say, yeah, okay, got that. Thanks for that info. So I just want to say good luck to him, and I hope he gets back home safe.
Me too.
And thanks for coming down to the Caribbean. Attention,
Mm-hmm.
what that this appearance in St. Kitts yesterday was very good for the youth, especially. And what I want to say about that, right? And I know Biff made some observations about that. He said that he saw children down there in their school clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask the question: what became of the robotic society and those kids?
They're still
They're
there.
gone. We don't. Yeah, but we don't. But I don't see them appearing. I don't hear about them that much right now. There was having appearances on the radio stations, but I don't see them nowhere right now. The reason why I'm asking that question is because the show yesterday, right, of the young people turning up was Ice Show Speed.
Mm-hmm.
It tells me, and I made this comment before already. The young people in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, they need an event to look forward to every year, and it has to be like a tech event. The Robotic Society should be leading a tech event in St. Kitts Nevis every year so that the young people can have something to look forward to. You see how they turned out yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
The government is talking about young people, empowering young people, but they don't have an event so that young people could look forward to a tech event to the enthusiasm that they got as bloggers, people who stand up the social media and these type of stuff. Once upon a time, I saw some young people was on there using the AI, but I don't see them no more.
Mm-hmm.
They went by the name of KN Wu.
Oh
We
yes.
don't see them on. Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
see them anymore. What became of those persons? And sometimes I got my own personal ideas and opinions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I be coming with some good ideas. But the authorities maybe they probably don't really, they don't care sometimes. They're hearing us, but they're not even taking some of our suggestions. And that's why we're on these radio stations. We're trying to hold the government's feet to the fire, and we're trying to come with solutions and ideas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the event for the young people them to look forward to will be like a tech social event. Whether the some kids are gonna show their inventions or they're just gonna come out to socialize and network. And I want people to know, man, these are my ideas. Don't try to steal my ideas, I have a lot of ideas, Biff. Where Biff at?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm listening.
You have him smiling here.
But Biff,
Yes,
Biff,
sir.
I'm gonna tell you, man. But I'm gonna tell you, Biff,
Uh-huh.
brother, man. If I get a hold of you and I have a conversation with you one-on-one, where I can talk to you for a whole day
Mm.
concerning this politics and stuff in St. Nevis and other stuff, man, I could talk to you for a whole day. You think 1 minute is enough for me to get on this air?
Of course not.
Yeah,
Of course
bro,
not.
I grew up in that political arena in Cotton Ground, bro. So I'm a product, I'm an environment. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you. You see,
Definitely.
Mark, I know this guy from since 11 years old, and I know him, bro. I know him real good. Certain things I'm not gonna say about him on these airwaves because we're not gonna follow over this political stuff, bro. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on, man. But Mark, you should think about honoring El Camino Willett, because I'm going to tell you why. Viv, at 11 years old, Willett put that bat in that ball, hard ball, and the bat in our hand. And Mark was a part of that crew with me and Strutt Williams.
Mm.
You know, you asked me what was one of my performances. Man, when I came up against Mark Screen, I had a quick 50 not out against him, man. He couldn't get me out.
So,
and at the end of the day, up to this day, man, he speaks about that still.
so you're saying you knocked out the Premier Mark Brantley? That's what you're saying? You knocked him out?
Man. Yes, man. He was off. He was falling off spin.
Oh, he was out. Okay.
And I came. I had a quick half a century not out, man.
Mm-hmm.
At 11 years old.
Wow.
But like I told you, man, Strutt Williams got away because the catch was dropping silly bit off right there in front of the bat. Because it's not all of us. Some of us were scared of the hard ball because we was just first introduced to it.
Okay.
But I wasn't scared of it. You know what I mean? But anyway, man, concerning the political thing now, PLP is inviting everybody again because they want to be the dominant party. Remember now, there's a lot of opposition coming, and I saw the need for independence to come up with the next election to give the people more options. And that's one of the reasons why I've been talking against the legislation that's blocking persons out in the diaspora who have the foreign passport, because we need to widen the field of candidates. You know, we need to do stuff different than other places. That rule, they have it throughout the OECS island. And in St. Kitts and Nevis, we could change that. And at least, Viv, if you do some research on that legislation, you will see it wasn't like how it was before. And me personally, I don't have the whole history about it, but at least I know if they put it back to how it was before, persons who have that dual citizenship, they might be able to run. But they can see also they have a court case in what's that called St. Vincent, where Godwin win. Friday Godwin.
Yes.
So it's a court case that's going on over there with him and another parliamentarian.
Okay.
They're saying that they have dual citizenship. But anyway, man, the question in St. Kitts Nevis about the next election coming up, all those who is running or planning to run, they need to come forward and get their manifestos and put themselves out there to the electorate with their, you know, the policies, their ideas and stuff like that, so we can get to know them.
But do you believe that they should be engaged in any debate, for want of a better expression, either at the constituency level and or the leadership level? Do you believe in the debate?
They
can work here?
Yes, definitely. I'm a proponent of that. They can start somewhere. Either we're going to start at the constituency level, like you said, or we're going to pick the leader from each party to represent. And they should try something and see how it works. At least try. At least put it on as a trial and then see what happens and see how the people receive it. But we are not changing anything there. We need to start changing and doing stuff differently.
So, but you're saying you agree. You're saying you agree. You would suggest that yes, they have that debate. But another question: Do you think the politicians, the leaders of the parties we have here, would have the appetite for that? Do you think they'll say, "Sure, fine"? Do you think all of them will jump up and agree?
Well, you see, the thing is, right, when you come up with the idea about changing something, right, whether you're going to have the support on the ground or not, because you know what I'm proposing. The issue that I'm proposing about removing that legislation, do I really have the support on the ground? So the question that you're asking is the politicians going to have the appetite? They may or may not, because you see, they're caught up in the status quo. Some of them, they want to get the easy ride, a free ride. But I'm going to tell the persons who are trying to run, it is not easy removing an incumbent government. And they're not for 1 minute to think that it's going to be easy removing this Labour government. Yes.
Okay, 30 seconds.
The question that's coming up rapidly on the ground is that should the opposition with the S, should they unite? And should they unite before the election or after? Should they unite before to show the people that they're organized and they're united and united collectively? This might be a good idea. You don't want
wrap up first, please, Bull.
Lastly, you don't want the election to come and pass, and you miss an opportunity to unite to remove that government, that Labour government. In the first instance, one seat could be taken away from Labour, the government collapsed. The second instance, we take away 4 seats, leave them with 2, and they can't go over to Nevis and join up with CCM. The CCM was given 3 seats to Nevis. And I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Thank you, Burl. You said we have a next caller? Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Listen, I want to touch on the high speed thing. I saw a few clips, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw Dominica, I saw St. Lucia, and I saw some of Trinidad. To me, it was, in those islands, it was all about speed because you could actually see what was going on. In Dominica, for example, he had on the Calinago outfit. Well, everybody sees, so I really don't have to go in.
Yeah.
But to me, think it, I saw a post from Tony, I could call him because it was on Facebook, that it was really disorganized, and I would agree. Because the little clip I see in my home country, we usually good at organizing, like they say maybe it was short notice, but the crowd just got around and you couldn't see him. I saw a clip where, I don't know if he was on Timothy Hill,
Mm-hmm.
he had on the
Masquerade, yeah.
outfit,
That was
right?
Timothy Hill.
And he was like trying to speak, but the music, the Masquerade music was overpowering, so you couldn't hear what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
That was a turn off. So from what I saw, I would give Dominica the cake. Now I'm criticism, but I'm going to be fair. I would, the little clips, I didn't see all the islands like I said,
Mm-hmm.
but the clips I saw, I think Dominica took the cake. And he was at a place, I don't know, I'm dying to go there now, where he said, wow, let me get to the edge. It looked like this, he was like, it looked like something like a volcano thing, but it was just like, it was red. I don't know, Captain said you've been to Dominica a few times. Maybe you could tell me where
The
it is.
sulfur,
I think
the sulfur springs?
somewhere he was, but he said that he wanted to go to the edge. Like he was so amazed. And the host, I think she was really good.
Mm-hmm.
For a moment, I think because the girl looked kind of good for sure. And he said, how old are you? He said 44. He said, I thought you were 25. I kind of dropped my mind into something, but
Yeah.
but definitely, we're usually good, but I don't think we were really up there. As Dara said, it was more like a carnival. You really couldn't see, like people, right? I think we got a little too excited at times. Because I thought the idea was to showcase the island.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you see this crowd of people. So it really wasn't really, to me, seeing anything. And then somebody rebut and said something about negativity. To me, it wasn't negativity. It's just that, encouraging us to do better. But all in all, and I saw a clip earlier where he passed out in St. Martin, maybe for a moment, and then, Cleo mentioned, they say he was robbed in St. Vincent. Well, that's a no. Come back containing some $30,000 worth of streaming equipment, and he described it as the craziest thing. So, a lot of hope him dying put St. Vincent in a bad light.
I hope that ain't even true.
Yeah, I hope he
I
ain't
saw
true
it on
because
Google. After Cleo said it, I read it on Google.
Wow.
doesn't necessarily
Yeah,
mean it's
so-
true because remember we have a lot of malicious people out there. And even
Yeah,
on
and they
YouTube,
said that the cameraman was so upset. But that's really kind of bad, though, because, St. Vincent got some nice little...
And we don't need that on our Caribbean
we don't need
islands.
that in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
real.
yeah, and but let me say one last thing. It got some controversy amongst the island because you see, though he said Trinidad food is the best so far.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
Jamaica, Trinidad out there saying, Jamaica, watch this. And then Grenada now, Trinidad knocking Grenada, saying, oh, you mean the man come and all you saw you could do the best oil down and not a thing. Everybody tried to be up there, but
We always been competing against each other. Listen.
we were up there, and I'm petition and I'm saying it. I think for the last time, Dominica took the cake from what I saw.
Okay.
And I'm sure he's going to go back Dominica. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your observations and for your comments.
But he just said something that caused me to think. Was he given our national dish at any point? Not that he would have.
I
eaten
didn't
all
look
of it.
at the stream really because I was at work too. So You can't overdo the do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I know
Because-
he ate goat water and whatever. I think somebody mentioned something about sawfish while he was at Boozy's, and he was like, I don't know. Somebody said it sounded like he
Or
think
maybe
that we
sawfish
eat
and
swordfish
Johnny
or
cake
something.
as
I don't
opposed
know.
to the national dish.
So folks who know, who watched the live, who was in the live, maybe you can call in and let us know. Caller God. Morning, you're live on Island C.
Grand Rising Quartet here. Thank you for taking my call.
Morning, go ahead.
On your news item this morning, I listened keenly to the figure that is visiting the U.S. for 4 days as he delves back into history of his ancestors. Now, they are on the move, Hortensia, and if I may paraphrase what he said that their ancestors were brutal, and he got a standing ovation. Hortensia, who is our ancestors? Now, this morning the news says that, in the news item this morning, the figure said that no act of violence will succeed. Now let us look at the genocide and the atrocities that were committed. And when this figure gonna say no acts of violence will succeed, now is he talking about the future, the present? We see acts of violence are being committed. But he said no acts of violence will succeed. But what have happened in the past to our ancestors? Were there violence, the genocide, and the atrocities that were committed by the British, the French, the German, the Belgians, the Europeans? Hortensia, who are our ancestors? This figure is going back into history, Hortensia, and we are silent. We are silent. I'll leave it there, Hortensia.
Thank you, Journey. But he asked who is our ancestors. I should ask him, who are they in terms of rebutting this question? But I'm thinking like, my ancestors are maybe the people from way back when. I don't know who they are.
African slaves.
So that would be that. But I don't delve into stuff like that because the next thing to go find out my ancestry, they have my DNA. I don't want to give up my DNA like that so willingly, although they probably might have it already. But yeah, I don't delve into stuff like that. Right now, my ancestry is I belong to the Amerindians, the Indians, the blacks, and a bit of the Chinese in Guyana. That's what I know. Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Any Indians?
I mentioned the Indians, yeah. Yeah, because my mom is Indian and black. Yeah.
And now you're causing me to think.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we were told Christopher Columbus discovered the islands?
Mm-hmm.
Shadow has a song. He discovered the country the countries that were discovered by people before him.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't discover anything. He could say he traveled and found them.
And he exposed them to the world.
Yeah, but he didn't discover nothing.
When he came here, they were Kalinagos.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking, could Kalinagos be out? Yes, the slaves came how many years after?
But they tried to kill them all.
But
remember, and some of them managed to get away and paddle miles and miles to more peaceful places that didn't have slavery. But I think every country had slavery, but I wonder how they survived not being enslaved. Were they enslaved, though?
That the Indians?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here in our experience in St. Kitts, remember there was the battle down.
Yeah, that's what I said. They tried to kill them off, yeah.
And my understanding is, from what I've read, the remainders, they used
paddled to Dominica.
Mm-hmm. So the question at the end of the day, do we really have any Kittitian or any vision with Kalinago blood in them?
Yeah. There's this lady that lives in Old Road. She has the face, and a few of her family members. She looks like a direct descendant from one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
She has the hair, she has the face. My dad's side of the family, descendants of those, but in Ghana we say Amerindians. Because I have a sister with a distinct face. I have a grandma, auntie, everything, a great aunt with these distinct features looking like them Carib, Arawaks kind of people. Yeah. But no, people in all road look like that. Maybe one day you'll see them. I don't wish to call her name live on radio,
I
but
need to check them out then.
yeah. All right, caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. You can always call back. But I think that's my ancestry for now. I'm not saying I might have black in me, but I haven't traced to go all the way back to see whether my ancestors came from the Congo, Burkina Faso, West Africa, North Africa, East Africa. I don't know those things, no.
I'll probably do that to see where I end up.
Okay, but then I gotta give up my DNA.
My grandmother, she was from St. Bart's.
Mm-hmm.
My maternal grandmother was from St. Bart's.
Mm-hmm.
My maternal grandfather, he's a Weeks. And, interestingly, we're trying to find out where he was born.
Mm-hmm.
And the birth certificate says, where does the birth certificate say? I can't remember.
At home?
But we had a problem finding out the date. He was born in 1910, I think it is, somewhere down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day it said Nevis. But
Okay.
people here in St. Kitts cannot understand how it says Nevis because they don't know his mother to have gone to Nevis, to have lived to Nevis, and for him to have been born in St. Kitts. So that's something else.
Okay. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T. All right. You can always call back, caller. Sorry about that. All right. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.
You can win more with the Mega Ball. Pick 3 and pick 4, you could get it all.
Yes, playing Pick 3 and Pick 4 with the Caribbean Lottery just got more rewarding. For just an extra $1, increase your winnings by $1,000 with Pick 3 and $10,000 with Pick 4 when you play the Mega Ball.
You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? You ready to win a little extra? Then get on the ball.
Play Pick 3 and Pick 4 with Mega Ball at Caribbean Lottery agents island-wide. Must be 21 and over to play.
Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you. Join me, Percival Hanley, this coming Friday and every other Friday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon for Heritage Matters on Win Media SKN 98.9. Heritage matters to me. Heritage matters to you.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the doorway or any exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care of yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until all the shaking stop, and do the DCH, drop, cover, hold on.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
Do you want to know what's happening in sport? Tune into On The Ball, a weekly talk show which is on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On The Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WinFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9 Win FM.
Building supplies, electrical supplies, furniture, appliances, carpets and tiles. It's the company All at TDC, home and building that road. Come on down, get what you're looking for. It's all at TDC, home and building that road.
And we are back on Island T. It's just about 9 in the a.m. As we continue along, I saw a news article that says, and here goes, let me make sure I have the correct thing. I see the news articles about Guyana and Venezuela row is coming back again, but that's not what I wanted to get to. I'm looking for my article here and I cannot find it, so give me 1 second. Let me go somewhere else. A little patience with me this morning. And I don't even think I want to touch that. I'll just leave that alone. I'll just leave it alone. It says Nevis Premier expresses concern that the Destiny Project may not come into fruition. And then last night I was trying to listen to his program, but oh boy, it just wasn't working out. Because what I clearly understood from the little that I heard is that if you don't get all the land now, you could start with some of the land, and then when folks, well, this is some comments that I heard, when folks see what's happening, then they may say, oh, it's a good thing, so let me sell my land, and then it works that way.
But is it the case of the availability of the land? Is that the challenge, or isn't the challenge the national, how should I put it?
The head. Yeah, but some people aren't buying it. I'm just going to touch some of it, right? It says the Destiny Project in Nevis remains stalled due to an ongoing review, as you just mentioned, Biff, processed by the federal government of St. Kitts, Nevis. While Nevis Island Administration, NIA, has already approved the proposal, the project cannot proceed until it receives federal sign-off under the Special Sustainability Zones Act. During his monthly press conference, the Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, admitted his fear that the project may indeed be lost. He said, unquote, if the Destiny Project is lost, and it may well be, I think we have to confront that realization. What saddens me is that if it is lost, I would have liked it to have been lost because there are substantive concerns about the project not being lost through delay, and that to me makes no sense. If you have a position, and come forward and say what that position is, because then you might be able to assist. Where Destiny started as a proposal and where it now is fundamentally different, because we have negotiated and renegotiated positions as one would expect. Most developers come in and they want everything, and you have to negotiate with them. That's what governments do. So my point is that if there are concerns and they bring those concerns to the fore, share them and have those concerns addressed, then we can move forward. But the silence has been the problem, that no progress has been the problem. So that is a concern that we have, and we may well lose the project through that, end quote. So I guess hearing nothing from the federal government is another reason for stall, or why it's being stalled, and then some people still not willing to sell their piece.
And perhaps it's because initially the accusations that the cat was put before the horse. When everything was done and dealed and settled and signed, the allegations are, that is when you said this is going to happen, and you're having town hall meetings after the fact as opposed to before the fact. And no doubt some persons would be jubilant about what is happening and things not happening. And then you're always going to have people on opposite sides of the fence, Cartensia. And it's not everybody going to say yes, it's not everybody going to say no. How many, that's a different kettle of fish. And perceived lost opportunities, lost revenues, how many jobs will be lost, would have been lost, and are there any not so good things that would have been lost? But if that's happening,
But see, we won't know until that time. Just before we take the call, I'm going to just read a little thing. He said the premier said that while many are vocal in opposing the project, the sentiment on the ground is different. Caller, go ahead. You're live in Island T. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine. With
morning.
regard to the Destiny project, right? Yes, it had a problem from the start, both in terms of how it was rolled out, how you brought information to the people, and secondly, the concept of it, right? People had misgivings about, essentially doubling the population of the island with foreigners, okay? And so I'm not surprised that it has stalled because it started wrong from the beginning, okay? And it's unfortunate, I think, because I think we could have salvaged something from the project. They were, for instance, mentioning that they were going to build hotels as well. To me, it would have made more sense if you had started with something like that to show good faith. Right, and give, as you said, people a comfort level with what was going to happen. But the truth was otherwise. And I think the federal government itself is complicit in this stalling, because if they see things they don't like about it, come straight out and say it. And have them correct it or negotiate something different. But instead they just
stall.
Sit on it.
Because apparently the article says that the agreement was supposed to be done by the end of March, and he's right. Just tell us. This doesn't look good.
Well, apart from that, I think the developers themselves had indicated that they were quite prepared to come to the people, discuss more with the people what the project was about, but they were advised against it. Advised them against it. We do know that they were in contact not just with the NIA in Nevis, but the federal government as well.
Exactly.
And so I guess it boils down to negotiations and procrastination and vacillation and all of that.
But I would like to know, though, Mr. McMahon, why you think the government didn't think that the people could handle what the developers would have brought to the table, and why maybe, this is just me, so government, nobody come for me, that they needed to break it down to the people in a smaller way, because we speak English, we understand, we could pick sense from nonsense. Come on.
That is key. And what that speaks to is the deficiency in how we operate government here, both St. Kitts and Nevis, where we always tend to think that, well, better not let people know exactly what's happening because they're going to ruin it, work or something like that, right? They don't have confidence in the judgment of the people when it comes to things like this. So there's always this secretive kind of approach to governing, which is really disturbing. Okay.
You have Mr. McMahon. You said they don't have confidence in the people or something to that effect. Is that really the case, or is it that they may not want persons to understand certain things, or know certain things as opposed to understand?
Well, what that suggests then is that those things are not good for the people or the country. You're going to keep, if you have a project list, if you have a project list that is going to be great for the country, spur development, bring jobs and all of that, right? Wouldn't you be happy to broadcast it?
Of course.
RNA? Of course.
Of course.
So
and
when you have
the developers, they want to talk, let them talk.
But when you have this kind of secretive approach, you got to be that you're hiding something.
Exactly.
It got to be.
Even if you're
Right?
not, that will be the perception. There's something sinister about it.
Exactly. Something sinister about it, you know, that you don't want to get with people. But regards the activity that we just had with what's his name?
Aisha Speed.
Aisha Speed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it all unfolded. I don't know if it's a private activity or a government activity, but a caller previously made a good point. What it seems to have ended up being is a frenzied competition among the islands. And really and truly, I'm not so sure that we benefit from that. Okay? It would be nice if it was arranged in a way that shows, I don't know what the span of the tour is, whether it's week, 2 weeks, or what. But show an organized tour that people can really identify with and want to come, not just to one island, but to several of them. But it didn't seem to me that it was well organized. It just seemed to be a case of, get out as much people as possible in the streets and that kind of thing. And one would wonder, too, about the clientele, the target audience. Now, it's all well and good to target young people. And yes, young people have influence on their parents. But for the most part, the people who spend the money decide on what where they go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would have thought that they would have targeted not just the young people, but the people who are going to be spending the money for them to come. So, but as they say, all publicity is good publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah.
So that, I guess in that respect, because you see, the other aspect to this is, you saw what happened in St. Martin where he fainted or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a good look when you have all this frenzied activity packed in such a short space of time and you end up with this. Okay, I can't see anybody benefiting from something like this. This is a case of don't do this at home. This is something not to do, right? And I don't think that is what the organizers would have wanted from this. But like I said, it offered good it offered publicity and exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that part was good.
Okay.
And lastly, with the what you spoke about the opposition and this organization, I am convinced, well, close to being convinced that those guys don't want to win. They want to sit this one out and try and organize for the subsequent election, because they are not acting as though they want to compete in an election.
Okay.
And you don't know no point going into an election if you're not going in to win.
Yeah.
And that means doing the kinds of things that are necessary. And I think a lot of it is due to PLP. Well, first of all, Pam being still traumatized by what happened to the unity arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
And I think and PLP and the conceitedness of Harris is still at play, where he's not going to eat any humble pie to do what is necessary to at least inspire some confidence from the opposition. So stalemate, and you know what happens in the case of stalemate.
Okay.
The incumbent wins.
Yes, indeed.
All
right. Thank you so much for your comments, Mr. McMahon.
Interesting, the humble pie thing.
Yeah.
And I'm here thinking, perhaps the good gentleman preferred to be in opposition as opposed to be in government and not being the prime minister.
Who's that?
The Honorable Timothy Harris. Because remember, he was the prime minister and the other 6 MPs, they said, well, hey, we're no longer going to support you. We're going to support Sean. And rather than allow what I believe would have happened, the Governor General would have said, hey, since Sean commands the majority of the members, I'm going to pronounce him the Prime Minister. But the then Prime Minister, the Honorable Timothy Harris, rather than say, okay, I'll go with it and I'll just sit as a government minister, he said, no way, Jose. It's either I have it or none of us going to have it. And remember, he fired the 6 of them, and then he called fresh elections to hand Labour the government.
Yeah, because people basically, what I hear touting now that's close to election is that Labour only won because they were in a disarray.
They won by default.
But I honestly don't think so. I think they spoke a good election talk and they had everybody forgetting that existed. So I don't believe they ran a lazy thing. I believe they ran something very well that was believable to most of the folks, and they won. But it was clear that they had no other competition at that time. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Thank you, Coach. Let me turn on my. I like the way McMahon make his perspective, especially the last part. The injury to the unity part, based on what had arranged, it did not fulfill. And as a result of that, that breaks down the whole system. And right now, as it is said, all parties join together. Well, they could, each party run for themselves, but still, at the end of the day, the elected one will collaborate and form a coalition. But guess what? There might be, and I believe there will be one problem. Who will be selected to be the Prime Minister? And Mr. Harris, I'm sorry to say this, but it is a fact. I don't think they will be confident in giving Mr. Harris Prime Ministership again. Yes, he been there, he done that. But there was no confidence after the breakdown. So who of each party, apart from PLP, will be selected to be that leader? Remember, they are independent. Independence has done anything. The existing parties, PAM, Labour, PLP, the NRP is not so much in Nevis. We see them already damaged. Okay? But all of them did have transparency. And overall, there are no confidence in any of the politicians other than party liners. And if we could say party backers, regardless of what. So, it's going to be interesting. And this will be the most detrimental decision that will be made from this 2027 upcoming election. But as much, you see, sometimes we are deemed to be devil, and then we turn around to be praised as God, and that is the situation between PLP and Labour. Because remember why PLP has been knocked down? Because of no confidence from within, and it's ricochet to the people. Okay? Some will be diehard still. So in my view, who will be the leader? And if there are no collaboration and coalition, a government will be hard to form. But it will be a coalition government. It all depends on who will be selected after the election.
So why could not be a government like what Labour had without coalition?
I will leave that off the table because Labour not going to win 6 seats to form the government again. It's not going to happen.
How are you so sure about that?
See? Everybody have their perspective, you know. I respect what you said, you know.
I'm just saying, but how are you so sure? As I mentioned before, I can only count like 5 candidates from the Yellow Party that I know of for sure. And right now, I can only count 2 from the Orange Party, or maybe 3 that I know of for sure. But I can count all from the Red Party, whether they're in or out.
I was going to ask Mr. McMahon, sorry to cut what you're saying, but he said Labour cannot win 6 seats. So
That's not Mr. McMahon, that's Mr. Welcome.
sorry, Mr. Welcome, sorry. Which seat do you think Labour will not win and why?
The weakest point, number 8.
So you're saying the Prime Minister will not retain his seat in the next election?
He's not going to retain it.
Why you think so?
He's not going to retain it. Why I think so?
Yeah.
First of all, as a leader, right? You didn't show what it takes to be the leader in guiding the people. And the leader should have majority, you know. The leader should have majority of the supporters, but it's not. All who have spoken to, no personal grievance to the Prime Minister, but the way he conducts himself. Because at the end of the day, he has to shoot. He's the one to shoot the final shot. He's the one to make the final decision.
Indeed.
Okay? But is it poor observation? Is he listening to anyone? And according to some of his statements, sometimes you got to look at the adversary to learn and pick a page from their book, you know.
Of course.
But if you don't try to study your opponent, you're going to be a loser. And remember, if anything one do, you have to have a rule of engagement. Okay? No matter what powers you got, you still could lose to the weakest link and become the weakest link of your contrary. But let me jump over into Nevis, and I'm going to shorten it up. I think with that Destiny project, let me just say this. The people of St. Kitts and Nevis are not fools. The people of St. Kitts are very, very wise. But sometimes the decision they make, it go over their head. Because I can tell you, I am out here in the outer world. And I look, I listen, I learn. And when anything comes to me, I think about it before I make a decision. At the end of the day, I trump and triumph the whole situation. That's why I try to be wiser each day by day. So I represent wisdom, smartness, and survival without getting into any kind of
30 seconds
problem. I will leave it there. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, he said something interesting, Cartencia. He said he's of the view that the Prime Minister, his opinion, will not win his seat. And we have seen that happen because in 1995, remember Dwyer Astafan defeated the Honorable, right Honorable and Excellent Sir Kennedy Simmons.
Okay.
But what's interesting in that I find, there is no known, I don't know of any candidate for PLP, nor any candidate for PAM, declared for PAM, which is in keeping a little with what you said, who will be contesting number 8. So is that suggesting, irrespective of whoever contests the elections for those parties, the PM is going to lose? Is that what he's suggesting?
Because we don't have anybody in the areas. That's why I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to be malicious or anything, but we don't know who is who. We know Pell, we know Shani, we know Azad, we know Nubian, we know who is in 6. Who's down Sandy Point by you? Mr. Richards Hill?
Richards.
Okay, 5. See? Actually no 5. Who's in the old road?
That's Azad.
Okay, so I have Azad already. Number 4.
What about 6, Troy Flanders?
Okay, I didn't know that. So
Yeah,
now
he
we
ran
have
the last
6.
election.
So is he running this elections? I know 5 off my
I
hand.
haven't heard anything to say no.
I can name all 8 for Labour. Losers and all. I can name them because they're out there. I know them. I only know Mr. Harris for number 7. I know the guy Damien for number 2.
Has he been declared as the candidate for number 2?
I think he replaced my late classmate, as you and Niles.
I don't remember
Jones.
hearing that. I'm not saying that's not the case, but it's just that I've never heard it. I know he's
the deputy.
The deputy, and he's
but the
chair
deputy
for
don't have a role, a constituency?
Not
I said the wrong
necessarily
thing, read the role.
The deputy.
But Jeffrey's the deputy, Jeffrey's one.
Who is he, the deputy chair or the deputy leader?
I think he's the deputy leader.
Okay, well, the deputy leader suggests that he will be running in next
So
election.
is the lady Miss Wendy running? I know Mr. Who is it? Calvin? Am I saying it correct?
Calvin Pemberton.
Yeah, is he running?
I haven't
So
heard of
is he?
any declaration.
So then who's running?
Off the record, I heard that he will be contesting on behalf.
Okay, so who's running?
And just 2 days ago, I heard that he'll be contesting in number one. And that, like you said, that was, side of the conversation on the draft board and things like that, the domino board.
Because almost all the party members that PLP had strong and stable in the last election, they're gone. They're gone, left him. So who's there?
So now
who's
is a good time for the government to spring that election in August.
Exactly, and that's what Gassy do over there, because UPP ain't ready yet. I want them to be ready because I want them to win for reasons I won't say. But, yeah.
Remember, what he also said, you know what? I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a few months to get your act together, so I'm going to call elections just now.
But he's confident that he can win. Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
Caller, you there?
Can't hear them if they're there.
We have another caller.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T.
We lost that caller. Can you please call back, caller? We do apologize. And but it's interesting. Some persons argue that there should be a fixed election date, like in the U.S., so you know when it's going to be, so the government cannot catch the opposition with their pants down, so to speak, whether by calling it earlier or later, as the case may be.
Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T.
Yes. I think what Mr. Welcome might have been thinking of is the fact that there are people out there who are disgruntled about the sitting government, the way it operates and what it has delivered and so on. Okay? And if there is somebody who, even if you can call it a protest vote, that person, they go for that person as opposed to just sitting out the election, just not voting. So they have a low turnout. So it now comes down to strategy. Do the parties actually, the opposition parties actually come together and firm up things in terms of even who will be prime minister? And I don't think that I think Harris as a prime minister is spent force, so it will have to be somebody else.
But what if?
Why do you think so? Why do you think he's spent force?
Because I have not seen since the election any remorse on his part, any contrition that he messed up, because he messed up too, right? And so and that is why perhaps Ham is reluctant to get into bed with him again, right? There hasn't been that contrition. If it's going to be like what it was before, same kind of arrogance and so on that was displayed, I don't think people like that. People don't like arrogance in politics, to be quite honest, right? And so what I'm thinking is that if they can get together with somebody else as leader, and more importantly, have a definite program on what they're going to do. Don't come at the last minute and give us manifestos, something like that. Say exactly what they're going to do. They can make an impact. Alternatively, they might not come together officially, but they target their resources in particular constituencies that don't step on each other's toes, right? In other words, don't have the spoiler effect, where they take away votes from. So in other words, at the constituency level, there is a competitive race between two people only. whether from PLP or from PAM. Okay?
So,
And
so you're suggesting, Mr. McMahon, that based on what
don't
you're
run all
saying, in Sandy Point's case, where the Honorable Sean Richards, the Honorable Sean Richards, he's the candidate for the MP for PAM, that PLP, they do not contest that seat, and over in number 7, where the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris is the MP, PAM would not contest that seat. That's what you're saying?
Well, those kind of strategic decisions, yes.
But could I ask you another
rather
question?
than all the parties going for running 8 candidates. That's ridiculous.
Could I, and I agree with you, because there may be, if not overtly, maybe covertly, that indication, okay, we're going to unite, but we're not going to push that theory, but according to how the numbers got at the end, the back end,
right,
we're going to do it as opposed to what they did the last time.
Right.
We are a unity team working in government. But a question, working together as a team. But question, do you think if PLP is approached to say, we're willing to join with you, PLP, but your current leader, we're not going to support him for the prime ministership.
Yeah.
That is the Honorable Timothy Harris. If Pam were to come out and say, and I'm asking your opinion, mine. I'm not saying anything on behalf of anybody, please. I'm asking your opinion. If Pam were to say, hey, PLP, we're willing to join with you, but we're not going into that partnership. If the Honorable Harris, he wants to be prime minister, because we won't support him as prime minister. Do you think that PLP would say, okay, we could work with that?
Well, it would be up to Harris, because
he's PLP, right?
Do you think, your opinion, do you think he will accept?
My opinion of him, his ego is a bit too big.
So does that mean no, he wouldn't accept?
No.
I don't think he would accept.
I'm saying no outright, Mr. McMahon. I don't think so either.
But
well, I don't think so
remember
either.
His politics, but remember his politics. And he may decide that, it's probably, it makes strange bedfellows. And he may decide, boy, I don't have the card, and therefore I go along with it. So I wouldn't rule it out absolutely, but knowing his ego and how he operates, I see that as kind of far-fetched. But
wasn't that the case with that? Wasn't that the case with back in 2022? Do you think that he believed he could have formed the government without any coalition? That is, do you think that
yes,
he
because he placed everybody.
That he actually felt that he was astride the political environment here. He actually felt he had a chance of winning. That's where the conceit comes in and the ego, right?
And anybody could believe anything in life, but is how realistic it is.
We saw what happened. We saw what happened. He got a well-rounded defeat.
But not only that, if I'm not mistaken, how many votes did he win his seat by?
Not as many as we would
as
have
he has been
expected.
winning by before. There was a tremendous decline.
Yeah. So exactly. So when you look at all that, you'd think that he'll have some humility and stop the foolishness about you want to be prime minister again. But as you pointed out, it's either you do this thing at the front end or the back end. And like I said, there are disgruntled people, even in the Labour Party, okay, who don't necessarily like the style, the way the government operates, the fact that it's pretty much business as usual with how governments operate, and really want some kind of change, okay? And they I think, and this is where I come in, I feel democracy and the will of the people is best served when you have a credible alternative to a governing party, so that if you don't like what's happening, you can have a good alternative to work with. You know, that's to me what democracy is all about. Yeah?
All right, Mr. McMahon, thank you very much for your view. And
caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning. Okay, we lost that caller. You can always call back a caller. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. Caller, go ahead. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Yes, Cortensio, once again, this is me. I wasn't the one who dropped out just now. I have more to say. Now, I made a statement Monday night on a straight talk. Yes, all the candidates of each party should have already or now state their claim if they are running or not. Whether it's 1,000 people will contest in whatever constituency, because why wait so late to announce your claim, your manifesto, your policy, or what you have to offer to the people? What is the secret? What is the holdback? Now, let me reiterate. I am contesting a number, and I'm the one who states the Prime Minister is the weakest link among us.
You're contesting where?
Huh?
Where you said you're contesting?
Number 8. You asked me already. I told you. I am in 8.
No,
I
you
am
just said
available
something I
from
didn't hear. That's why I asked the question.
Okay. I am from Molyneux. I was born in Molyneux.
Okay.
But why ask the question why I'm not running in Molyneux? I look for the weakest link and the rule of engagement. And from my...
Mr. Welcome, you're cruising for a bruise.
Mr. Welcome, you're suggesting that...
Mr. Labby, you're cruising for a bruising.
Are you suggesting,
Welcome,
Mr. Welcome, the
I
Prime
tell you,
Minister
people
is
don't
the
know
weakest
you.
link in the election coming up?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, that probably is the first independent candidate who stated his claim. It's not now, but maybe I might not be taken serious because the track record they're giving, no independent ever win. And whoever gets any kind of vote, might be 2 or 3. Well, I'm willing to follow that vein, but a different technique.
Okay.
So you're saying, as an independent candidate, you believe that you can win your seat in number 8?
Absolutely, and if I couldn't think I will win, I would not make any claim.
You have to have confidence in yourself. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think...
confidence in yourself, why should anyone have confidence in you?
Right now in CARICOM, there is the situation where Trinidad raised an alarm that the discussion for the Secretary General, it wasn't done the way it was done before, where all the countries were involved. And she had an issue with that, Prime Minister Kamala Bissesa, with that. And since the chairman of CARICOM has been getting a lot of stick for that, justly or unjustly, I might say. And now prime ministers are coming out and saying they think that the Secretary General should resign, the last one being, I think, Jamaica. Do you think the handling of all of that situation at CARICOM would have any impact on the electorate here in St. Kitts? How the Prime Minister, good or bad, has handled CARICOM as the chairman will have any impact on the electorate when it comes to next election?
Well, first of all, like I said, apart from local law and the regional situation, I don't try to involve in every single thing to give you a definite answer. But other people have answers, and sometimes we listen and learn from other perspectives. But all I can say, do your job at home.
Dance a yard before you dance abroad.
Dance abroad, or they say what? Dance a yard
before you dance abroad.
Or do not put the cart before the heart.
Okay.
Okay? And to me, we might seem to have so much wisdom that we don't know how to put our cards in order. Okay? I personally, I was a backer of the new Labour team when they started out first. I've been to their meeting here in New York. I meet and greet. And I was hoping that based on the offer to the people, my concern is the people. My concern is you doing well, or you get well, and you can continue. But it's a U-turn. Yes, And if you try to fool me and I found out you fool me, that's just me. I'm not going to give you my confidence. And that is where the Prime Minister failed. If he had only delivered, and instead, situation become self-aggrandized. And I'm going to call it out. Too much thieving going on in the government, especially with the CBI.
Hold on, Mr. Welcome.
Mr. Welcome, you can't do that on here, please.
Yes, Mr. Welcome.
Because you could get us in problems.
What proof do you have? Hold on, Mr. Welcome. Hold on, please, Mr. Welcome. Please, Mr. Welcome. It's one thing if you believe that, but you can't make a statement like that. I haven't cut you off. I don't know if you can hear me, but I haven't cut you off. But I've lowered you, so you're not going to be going out. If you're going to be making those kind of claims, please present us with the information, your proof, so we could corroborate it. Please, we do not want to expose the station. We do not want to expose ourselves and you to any libel. Please don't make absolute stations like that. The government
absolute statement. The government is thieving money from
CBI. That is what you said. And so please don't try to convince us that's not what you said. I don't know if that's what you mean, but that is what you said. And please, Mr. Welcome, can you please retract that statement and apologize?
Let me reiterate.
No, Mr. Welcome. Okay. I want you to retract that statement and apologize, please, or else I'll have to cut you, sir. And not only that, I wouldn't be able to allow you to continue on the program in future if you don't retract it, because this is the second time. Well, you have made a statement.
I need to continue on the program. What I'm going to say, I apologize if I caused any inconvenience.
And retract the statement, please. Mr. Welcome, you have to retract the statement. You have to do both things, please. I'm asking you to do both things. If you don't do both things, Mr. Welcome, I'm going to cut the call, and I'm not going to allow you to be on the program in future, please. So please.
Okay. Okay, for the sake of the program and everything to go on, I retract what I said.
Thank you very much. You may continue now, sir. And in future, please, like I indicated, Mr. Welcome, when you're going to make these statements, if you have proof, that is okay. Present us with the proof so we could say, yes, we are reading it or we are looking at it, and that is the case. Please, don't make statements like that. I don't know if they're true. Maybe you know if they're true, but please present that information. Please present us with the facts that we could substantiate what you're saying, please, in future.
Okay, Mr. Welcome, 30 seconds to wrap up, please. Thank you.
I retract it.
Thank you very much, sir. 30 seconds to wrap, please.
I am adamant, and I'm going to leave it there. I'll come again at another time.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And Carton said it's a good time to remind callers, when you're making statements, please provide us with the facts, not after you made the statement, before you made the statement, so we could read along with you, watch along with you, and said, yes, we see in the document what is happening. It's signed by whoever, however, it seems a legitimate document. But don't make statements like that, please.
Get us in problems.
You're going to get in problems. We are the hosts going to get in problems. The station going to get in problems. We don't want that, please. And on behalf of the management and staff of WinFM 98.9, I apologize for those comments. And Mr. Welcome retracted the statements and he apologized. And I do apologize, and we don't expect to have these sort of things again.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these few messages.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
Found the sound 98.9.
LNT, it's just about 15 minutes before the hour of 10. And as we continue along, whilst we were listening to Mr. Welcome, I was putting together who I know for the parties. And I'll start with the ruling party. For the Prime Minister, Constituency 8. Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, Deputy, Constituency 1. Marsha, Minister of Tourism, etc., 2. Samal, 4, Minister of Agriculture. Kenny, didn't win his seat. That's number 5. I got all of that. I'm getting to it. Douglas, 6. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Nata, wasn't successful as well. That's number 7. And Conneris. And Conneris is in number 3, and he is the Minister of Infrastructure, right? So that's, you see, I named all. Now, for PLP, Dr. Harris, number 7. And, as I said, Mr. Lawrence, number 2. Mr. Pemberton and Miss Phipps, I don't know where they stand, but those are the 4 I know for PLP. Now, we gone up to, I'm not going to say that again because that might get me in trouble. We gone up to the good yellow party, Pam. I'll tell you in private what I would have said. So we have Mr. Freeman in number 3. Mr. Flanders in number 6. Miss Gray Brooks in number 1. Mr. Gums in number 4. Mr. Gray in number 2. The Honorable Sean Richards, Dr. Sean Richards in number 5. And Lincoln Pell in number 7. I don't have anybody for number 8. We were discussing that the last person that run was Mr. Hamilton. So that's what we're missing for Pam. So I found 2 extras in my mind while we were going through all of that to add, and with Troy's help. Caller, go ahead. You're live on LNT. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Good move. Good move on the last caller that you had just now. It's not whether you're speaking the truth, whether you know the facts or not. It's the time it takes. Anybody could take you to court for anything.
Yep.
But you have to be responsible with what you say concerning people because of the fact that they could sue you for slander. And at the same time, you could be right. You could be telling the truth. But can you prove it?
Exactly.
You might not be able to prove it. And it takes too much time. And they could have you tie up in court for a long time. Especially if you don't have any money,
Boy.
you're in serious trouble.
So
that's a good action that you take just now.
Thank you very much, sir.
But I would like to say this, sir. Sorry, Mel. What you were saying?
No, I said thank you very much.
I will say this to you concerning the political issue. One have to be very cautious and careful, and don't put Harris out of the race too easily, because every day he's in your face. You see him in your face every day. Correct. The road that he have repaired, the Island Main Road, the Boston Ferry Terminal, the Old Road Bay Wall, going on in that area. And so there are a number of things that he have done that people recognize, and also the roof project, the roof program, and so on. Everyone felt like if all those information and those things were there, Dr. Douglas could have done them. I should have done them before. Before Timothy Harris getting office. Now, having said that, my main thing is concerning the Nevis project. And someone had made a statement earlier that it appears as if that it's falling apart because of the time frame that was given. My question is, what is it that will become of those lands that was sold to the people who are preparing, doing the project? It's the fact that they might not have enough land, but if you already put your hands on property, so many acres, why not start building from within to build out? So while you're building are going on in progress, people will see what you're doing and maybe get on board. But to say you're going to cancel everything and you already have people's property in your possession where they're not theirs anymore, because most likely if lands are sold to you, those would have already been legally transferred.
They have new owners.
And from the owners to you. Now, the other thing is that one of the things that we must understand is that politicians try to be very cautious in their words. When they say something, they try to make sure that it's definite because they see that the land have been transferred and they see that it's being registered in the owner's name, and so they could come out and pick up the trust and say, like Mark say, well, you see the opposition is making noise, but they already sold land to the same people.
Interesting.
And so if he did not have that information, in my mind, I think that he would not have said it. So therefore, if land had been sold to them, what will become of that land? Because their plans, obviously their plans are still the same. He that is forced against his will is of the same opinion still. And so it's a fact is that they're in their mind, they're still planning to go forward with the project. And so the land that has been brought to them, and that's going to repeat myself, is in the same position that it's in. So where do we go from here? I like to hear Mark Mohan comment on that, what he think, what he will have to say, because this one here, to me, will outstump him sometime or another. So I think I have said enough. Do have a wonderful day.
Thank you, kind sir.
much,
You
caller.
do the same as well.
And thank you very much for the compliments as well. And but that's a very interested question. What if the project doesn't come off the ground? What will happen to the lands? Are they going to go back to the original owners and say, hey, are you willing to buy back the land? And if the owner say yes, and you sold it for, I don't know, $5 per square foot, are they going to say, well, I'll sell you for $6, or I'm going to sell it for $4?
The likelihood is if nobody sells anything for a loss. So to get back their money, they're just gonna, because we all know land appreciate and we all know the value of land, they're gonna up the ante.
When I bought it for you, it was 5 years, but it's been a year now, so it has appreciated, so it's now 6 years.
Maybe 7 or 8
But
or 9 or 10.
Another question too. But then that question, I don't think it matter. Could they have started with what land's available, but the whole project has not been approved per se, so whatever lands they have or they do not have, that's irrelevant at the moment in my view, because you don't have permission to proceed. So if you have 100 acres, you don't have permission to proceed. If you wanted, 100 but you only got 80, you still don't have permission to proceed, which reminds me that we haven't heard anything about the beach and Freya's Bay. So does that mean that has been resolved? Or is it a case that after 9 days, we forget?
Something else is going to come up soon, and we're going to be back at it again. But I don't think it's been resolved.
Speaking about 9 days, and, well, not speaking about that, we have in the PLP in office this afternoon, live and lively, on winnfm 98.9 at 3:30. And they're going to be telling us primarily about the launching of, they're going to be launching their new headquarters. So come on, tell your friend, tell Paul to sell, tell Paul to tell Saul to tell all. Tune into WinFM 98.9 at 3:30 this afternoon, when you'll hear PLP, the People's Labour Party, live and lively and direct in the WinFM 98.9 studios.
Okay, caller, go ahead. You're live in LNT. Pleasant morning.
Yes, good morning again, Cartensy. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, that gentleman that just came off, right? The suggestion, the question he asked about the land, what's going to be happening to the land over there in Nevis? You know, and then he made a suggestion about kind of like building out and go forward accordingly. Build out from within. You know, a late caller on the Mark show last night said the same thing. Me, I'm not for the Destiny Project because we're going to lose our land. I'm not for that project at all. Let me make that clear. And another thing is, Mark himself, right? If this project don't come to fruition, he cannot blame nobody else but himself. Because we're talking about transparency, and the transparency is not there at all. To this day, we can't see those documents. And them pushing the transparency agenda, if he so wants that project for Nevis, he should have presented that in a different way and bring the transparency. Up to this day, it looks like this man is still trying to get this project done in secrecy. And it's hurting him. And it's hurting Nevis' chances of getting that project and to progress Nevis. So at the end of the day, man, we're talking about having strong negotiations and stuff like that. If Mark failed at bringing that Destiny project, the people of Nevis are going to have to really think about removing him. I'm going to be honest about that. And the political scene, politics is not a one-man show. It's a team sport. And it's rapidly becoming visible that the biggest problem that's going to be for the opposition is who's going to take the prime ministership. And let me just dump in one suggestion. I know people might not want to hear this. The guy said Harris is still important, and that's a correct statement. You can't rule out Harris at all. And no matter what, his goal is to win 6 seats, and he's out there putting in the work to get that done. So at the end of the day, the rest of the opposition should try to get on board. And the people of St. Kitts Nevis, they need the political maturity from our politicians. And if they're going to sit and argue about the top spot and the election ain't even happened yet, man, if they fall apart and Labour go right back in there, it will be at their own demise. And maybe I'll just leave it there for now, man. Thanks a
All
lot.
right. Thank you, bro. Yeah, well, we have a caller. Caller, go ahead. You're live in Island T.
Greetings and love. Hey, thank you, man. Greetings.
Greetings.
Yeah, listening to the reasoning there, right? Yeah, and politics thing. To me, like, let me ask a question. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do you see politics advancing us? Every day we get up and we deal with the politics, and what evaluation we carry out to show that politics is like advancing us, and where are we going? Do we know where we're going to? We want to be taken, we the politicians are supposed to be taking us. You know what I mean? I think like this politics thing is like wasting, I don't really want to say wasting thing, because for some people, like, politics is the thing, but there must be more to life than politics,
True that.
And when we realize, like, we get the politics from the people who enslave us, right? And I don't think they give us politics because it would be what would free us,
They gave us politics. They gave us politics.
Yeah, because if you check it out, right, we set against one another, we opposite to one another because you have government and you have opposition. And when you say certain things against the government, people watch with a bad eye, you know what I mean? As you say, well, once this government, regardless to how wicked you be, you know what I mean, people will just talk positive about you. You understand? No, these can be good for the youth. And if we want, because we want youth to come better, That's what we want. We want our youth to be better than us. But to do that, we must have a system that would do that. And the politics system we have doesn't do that, and by now we should see. We change leaders almost every time we got politics, right? We change the leaders. That should be telling us something. Yeah? It's not the people who are taking part in it, the system itself that is faulty. That it was designed with a specific purpose.
Okay.
Right? And we as a few people, remember,
30 seconds, please, caller.
Yeah, we were slaves, and then we come into statehood, and then we move statehood, and we come into
Independence.
So who is our head of state? Now it's independent. And at the same down plus a man.
Oh, boy.
We really forwarding. No, we gotta look at it.
Yeah.
We forwarding.
Yeah.
So for them long time back till now when we talk, so we just in an illusion.
Okay.
Make believe that we forwarding, you know what I mean? But love and guidance, man, right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ras.
Yeah, he made a lot of sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
interesting perception and spin and twist on things. Are we going forward? And
Because our oppressors are still in charge.
Exactly. And
just not with the iron fists.
Is it the case?
Maybe.
According to the mighty shadow, the late mighty shadow, same old khaki pants. The mighty Godfrey had a song Abba and Saba, and Tomato and Tomato. Potato and potato, same
Yeah,
thing.
same thing. Just different ways of seeing it and
Presented
pronouncing it.
differently.
Yeah.
But and this is where we the people, with the electorate, we have to stand up and we have to be frank with our representatives. If you are my representative, Cartencia, I have to say, Cartencia, I believe this is garbage what you're doing. Well, not so harsh, but and these are my 3 reasons, or this is my 1 reason. I can't just tell you you're not doing a good job. I have to say why I think you're doing a good job, and maybe even make recommendations.
Yeah.
Rather than just get up and get these things, I think you should panel a couple of people you trust and things like that. But it looked like we're afraid to tell our representatives in the first instance that, hey, I don't like what you're doing. You're not doing a good job. And if you continue not doing a good job, I'm not going to vote for your next election. And really, this thing that I am a Labour, I Pam and my grandmother and my mother and my great-grandmother and everybody. Exactly. And the Pam cat and the Labour dog story. I mean, that's a little humorous and funny. But where does it stop? When does it change? Otherwise, it's just spinning top in mud, in my view. And a catch-22. It's going around in circles, and maybe the circles getting smaller or bigger. But and the politicians will do whatever they do, and they're getting away with it. They will continue as long as we don't do anything. And I keep saying and hemming and hawing, the only time you really hear that we are the employers is 3 months before the election, getting into the campaign time. Yeah. You don't normally hear in the middle, or like, no, hey, remember, you Cartensia and you Biff, you are my employers, you know. And who determine whether if the employee is not doing a good job and what action take? The employers, me and you, the voters. And not when you're ready to go in and, hey, I come into you, want back my job. And then, okay, you did a good job. I don't know what you did, but you did a good job. I'm going to put you back in because my grandmother voted Labour and my grandfather voted PAM and all of that. But we're in a mess, Cartencia. We're in a mess. And before that, before we slip, in Antigua and Barbuda, I understand, I read something that said the opposition didn't produce a manifesto for whatever reason or reasons.
Gotta catch them with their pants down.
And somebody is arguing, I think it's a government candidate, that is disrespectful to the people, or they don't mean a lot, or they ain't consider you, and things like that. That's something strange, because I think over the late we have been doing it in all the Caribbean islands, producing manifestos. Some people go about collecting them, and nothing wrong with that. If you collect them, to read them, to say, okay, this makes sense, that makes sense. And a question somebody asks, and the person said, if the other party is making a suggestion and you get into government, would you honor that suggestion? Would you do what they're saying? And maybe they should.
Because a lot of this government is continuous, and a lot of the work that the next government does is what was there already.
Exactly.
They just act on it quickly, and the people feel, oh wow, this government doing something, but it wasn't there. Just like the previous one that wasn't there, they just starting what they had to do, and then they might push in a couple other projects for them.
Exactly.
So it was there. It just wasn't done because maybe that government didn't see that as priority, and they wanted to do something else to capture person's attention and said, oh well, this government did this. On that note, this is where we bring Island Tea to a close, just about 3 minutes after the hour of 10. So, all things square and equal. See you all tomorrow. God's Spirit. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your concerns. Good morning, Cleo. I haven't heard from you in a while. Miss Henry, good morning. I hope all is well. Biff, you have a great day. I will try my best to do the same. To all, see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Cartencia. And before you slip away, I'm just reminding you and the listeners that the People's Labour Party, PLP, they will be live and lively in the studios for WinFM 98.9 at 3:30 this afternoon, 3:30, 3:30,
Yeah.
30 minutes past 3, 30 minutes to 4. And tune in, they're going to be telling us all about their new headquarters, PLP headquarters. So have a good day, Cartencia, and see you tomorrow, God's Spirit.
Indeed.
Indeed.
NN is 98.9. 98.9 is Win FM.